Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Okay, well, I I was sent something and I put some things together and I'm going to read it to you, okay? So, you're we're living in a very volatile period, okay? Your freedoms are jeopardized, threatened, potentially under fire from many different sources. There are no guarantees, and nothing is certain. The elites who need to have and hold control will find it's not there. Even those who feel they have control have held control for 80 or more years in this country are only getting a slight hint that they may not have as much control as they thought. The arrogance of these elites is such that they believe they still have control simply because they control the press, the television, the book publishers, and the newsprint organizations. It started in the beginning, very slightly in the 50s, spreading somewhat in the 60s, partly because of the Vietnam War, increasing somewhat in the 70s with the degrading of the presidency of Richard Nixon. In the 80s, a greater schism, if you will, from those who were concerned about the potential for nuclear war. And then the 90s with Waco, okay, the Weaver incident, Oklahoma City, then New York City, 9/11. These are the beginnings to wake up the masses to the realization that their government has become criminal in many ways. It is creating chaos for those who promote and coerce the masses into accepting the New World Order. Be prepared for some utterly desperate acts on the part of the elites. The elites are now living at an extremely critical time in history. There was a time when the elites had a great fear of nuclear war. The time today is probably as critical as any time ever in the past, for even when the elites had the fear of nuclear war, it was not quite as easy to start a nuclear war as the elites were led to believe. There is no guarantee that the masses will have smooth sailing in the coming years, that there will not be suffering. For you, we are in the midst of a culmination of a plan that has been brewing for many, many decades, even centuries, wherein the elites have sought to create this one world government for several centuries and have accumulated many tools, techniques, methods for accomplishing that purpose, and wherein they have garnered many individuals under the control in particular positions, wherein they control the media, much of the political arena, the money system, medical systems, and other bureaucratic agencies and organizations where they even have fingers extending into the religious world to control these areas. It is indeed likened unto a giant octopus with tentacles, reaching into all areas of one's life, and these elites are arrogant and believe that they have total control. Yet, in the end, there is something in the souls of these elites that remains free to some extent, even in the most totalitarian case or situation. You know how they refer to us as useless eaters, right? So, the plan of diminishing the population was devised some time back and has been in development for some time now. The resources on Earth, being in limited supply, are being depleted by this increasing number of elites of hungry, desirous beings who, to the world planners, are a little more significant than numbers on a computer. These world planners, therefore, see that to now reduce the population, rid the earth of approximately billions of people, would be an economic move that would leave a kind of paradise for those remaining, whereby all the fruits of labor come from those elites, now removed, would fall to those who remain, whereby each nation around the world would have its own cities, its own resources, and plentiful supply, and the choice of many places to go and to be. These elites would inherit the earth and all its goodies. Now, the intent of preparing the mind of the masses to accept the New World Order in its paradigm or pattern is to first get rid of individuality. Various things like religion, things such as history, for example, are being changed, altered, rewritten to make people more tolerant of opposing views. History has been rewritten, leaving out the great men of old, the heroes of our country, are no longer part of the new history. Instead, the history books will speak of movements, social movements, society, socialism, social changes, psychology. They're all main focus of altering consciousness as used by the purporters of the New World Order, just as these were used in promoting communism. Now, psychology used to label people who had strong opinions or who would not be easily controlled, allowed the society to work or handle those people that had opinions by giving them some kind of antisocial label, a label of being out of sync or not in step with society or proper behavior. Oh, no, geez, no. Can't be like that, can we? Thus, psychology being used to indicate there is something wrong with a person. Likewise, sociology was used to influence the masses into what is now called political correctness. Politically correct is a term that means popular, the popular accepted behavior. Politics has to do with many people, many things, and it has to do with the masses. Poly, P-O-L-I, means many. And it is through politics that a person is elected, selected to an office, and the person has to satisfy the many. Thus, political correctness means satisfying the masses. And the people who do not satisfy the masses are politically incorrect. And this political incorrectness is an indication of individuality, which is the great sin of this time. Now, individuality is not allowed in the New World Order. Nay, nay. Because individuals cannot be easily manipulated, cannot be easily herded along the crowd. If people are not taught right and wrong and are simply herded by the leaders or elitists into a certain type of behavior with the crowd, then these people do not develop the ability to make choices. If they cannot choose, they are no longer responsible for any kind of character building. They cannot develop character or any kind of personal integrity. They are simply obedient or not obedient. They are simply following directions. If you think of this in its real meaning, they are simply robots. If you think of this in its real meaning, then they are not robots. It's very strange. Either you are or you are not. They are making decisions. They are able to choose. This is a very crucial stage in human history. What is happening today with this New World Order program is that the ability to make decisions or the ability to have an opinion is being programmed out of humans so that people can fit into the New World Order. They are not and have individually or to have opinions about anything. You are not to ever have an opinion. Do you understand me? That is what it's going to be like very, very soon. If you want to be a part of society, you must never speak on your own, have an opinion of your own, or making a decision on your own. You are no longer allowed to do that. You must comply. I know. They are simply to be similar to each other, accepting of all things and obedient to those who are the elite. Shall I bow down now and kiss the ring? Thus, the small minority groups without much representation are the groups that through the New World Order begins its educational process, because we must be taught. We've been individuals for too long. We must be taught the right way. As if we are children, we must be schooled. Remember this. This is our future. These are women's groups, minority groups, social and racial minority groups. And these are the people that are being manipulated first to become forces of groups that influence change, that are to be experienced for bringing out the New World Order. The Masonry activities are the most powerful aspect of the driving force behind the New World Order. However, the Masons are controlled by those international bankers who are more powerful controlling forces directing the bringing about of the New World Order. It is well understood by most Christian organizations and thus right-wing organizations that Masonry is indeed part of that effort to create the New World Order. And that Masonry has down through the ages played in a very important part. If you do not settle for the New World Order, then the alternative would be to continue war. But the wars themselves have been financed and controlled by these same 5% of people who have ruled in the past. And the 5% will now be rulers in the future. And the 95% will be totally disarmed, without any power, such as to vote, or any chance of throwing off the yokes of poverty. The trick has always been, if you want to change people, to get them to take a certain bait, then you create fear over here. Create a problem to make them run from it, so that they will go to that which is the trap you have set for them. Thus you herd them into the pen or to the trap, and they think they have escaped something terrible. Welcome to the New World Order. Welcome home. This is our new reality. And it's happening very, very soon. Sorry, guys. You know me. I don't like doom and gloom. But I can't candy coat this one. All right, I'm out of here. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Ciao.